Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing for the second time because uh, basically what happened was, because I mentioned this in my channel update which I posted yesterday. I originally recorded this review for this episode a while ago, like a bit of a while ago, but I was doing like a software for my update for my laptop, but it got crashed. It was all glitchy and stuff like that. So I got rid of that review. So this is like a second attempt for it. But anyway, so this is my review for Secrets of Sulphur Springs, Season 3, Episode 3, called Closing Time. And yeah, we're almost at the midpoint. And I'm going to try to project my voice more so you guys can hear me a little bit better, because there was, there was a couple of people who said who can't hear my voice, which is totally fair because I sometimes mumble my voice. So I'm going to try to speak more clearly. So yeah, okay. And I did increase the volume for the audio for the actual clips because people said that was low too. So I did try to increase it. So we'll see how that works out. Okay. And also, I'm gonna be posting this review earlier in the day, not just like after midnight. So in case like there will be no interruptions and no doors, because um, I'm with my family and stuff like that, so there could be constantly at any moment could be like a door opening or something, or a garage opening or something, or who knows. So I'm gonna use the time that I have right now to get this review done, and hopefully episode 4 will be like later at night, along with the mini review for that, because that's the mid-season finale. But anyway, without any further ado and without any more delays, let's get on with the review. So before we get to Wyatt here, we start this episode 3. Sorry, I thought I heard a car or something. I like felt like a shaking or something. I was like, that was so weird. um. Okay. Anyway, so we start the episode with Oh right, we are in the 1960s with Wyatt and Zoe, and they're starting at Savannah hugging her mom, and they don't actually know that that's her mom or not. They just think Savannah's still a ghost, and they're in a land of ghosts and stuff like that. So I heard something. Anyway, sorry about that. Um, so sorry, just I like lost my train of thought. Okay, so they think they're like in a land of ghosts or a parallel world of ghosts or something like that. So we have them staying at Savannah, and Zoe thinks this is a great opportunity that we can finally ask Savannah what we know. And Wyatt is a bit of a coward, but he's also a little kid, so this makes sense. And Wyatt just slowly backs away while Zoe's still talking about her plan. Oh, we can ask Savannah what's going on about the other ghosts, if this is her, if she's been a ghost this whole entire time, who's that woman that she's hugging, all this stuff. And as she's talking, Wyatt just backs away and he just runs. And then Zoe's like, where are you going? And he's like, bye. And then he's not a jerk. He's like, run. And because even when Zoe ultimately just decides to run, because one, she's in a different place that she doesn't know with strange people in strange clothes. The only connection that she has is her brother, almost like twin brothers. I think at one point they said they were twins. I think, but anyway, so this is like basically her twin brother. So she doesn't want to lose that. The only connection she has in this strange place. So she's gonna go after him. So Savannah gives chase to go after them, because I think she's finally thinking this is finally the time where we need to come clean to Zoe and Wyatt. We can't keep pretending I'm a ghost anymore. And also, I don't want them to get into trouble and fall in a ditch or something, because she cares about them. So Savannah's giving chase, and we get back to um, we go back to 2020, because that's their current time. I memorized the year now. It's 2020, and Savannah is 1962. I believe I have that right. So 2020, 1962. Yep. Okay. So we go from the 1960s, 1962, to back to 2020 with what was it? Harper and Griffin. Sorry, the names. I lost my train of thought again. But we have Harper and Griffin. They're kind of talking about room 205 and how Harper felt something there, but there was actually like no ghost there. Or they're kind of wondering where is it, what should we do? And Griffin's like, we should at least talk to Sam about what you felt. And it's like, oh, okay. So they head back to the barn and to where they're kind of saying, hey, like, Sam, where are you? And they're kind of looking. They see like a shadow or something. And you're like, what's that? And it's actually Sam. It's like, it actually is kind of interesting that at moments you find Sam being kind of creepy, even though I think I mentioned this in a previous episode. It was episode 2, I believe, where Sam is like in fight or flight mode, where he is always kind of hiding. He is always on the run. He's a man at a time and on the run. That's like how he feels, and that's how he kind of stays safe in a different situation. So when he hears like a door open, obviously he's gonna hide, and he does it really well because he's been doing this for many, many years. So when he doesn't know it's Griffin Harper, obviously he hides, and then he just like appears out of nowhere because he's like a master mystic artist. Like, no, but he's really good at hiding. And it's like, oh, it's like, hey, did you guys like find anything? It's like, no, we checked room 205 and there was no ghost in there, but there was like a feeling like something happened there a long time ago in the past, but we don't know who. And it's like, and Sam's like, he's really frustrated. And Griffin's kind of frustrated too. He's like, Sam, before you burned our home down, your home down, he's kind of giving him a grief a little bit, which kind of makes sense. But okay, Griffin. But so and Griffin's like, did you know who was haunting room 205? Did you get like a glimpse of the ghost? And then Sam ultimately says no. All I felt was a feeling, a presence of something wicked and dangerous and something powerful. It took apart all of our lives, and it turned us against each other, turned us basically bad, and drove us apart. And it consumed us, basically. And he's like, oh man, I thought we, you knew something. He's like, no, I didn't know who it was. I just felt it. I didn't see anything. I just felt it. It was in the air. It was like in the molecules and stuff. I was like, how powerful is this ghost? I'm not sure if Graves could go into the molecules in the air. But anyway. So we have, so let's see. And then it's like, oh, I wish we could, find some way to, to find out what happened and which ghost it was. Because if we even suggest like time traveling again, which is dangerous enough, we don't even know which year to go. Like, what does go from from every year from like the hotel open? Like that seems kind of not productive, and it seems almost like a waste of time. So we need to figure something out. And then Sam's like, oh, we don't actually necessarily have the time travel. Hey, how about you kids want to do like a little field trip with me? And it's like, oh, okay. And we head to Sarah and Ben. I believe Jess is there too, where Sarah is like, oh man, like this whole ghost situation, I don't know, I'm having a bad feeling about this, and it's freaking me out. And Ben's like, hey, I'm here for you, and if you ever need to talk, like we're here. And we get to Topher. So the day those 3 or 2, because I forgot if Jess is there with them, but go downstairs, and Topher's upstairs, and he's looking for Wyatt and Zoe. So he is going through each door. He's kind of like, hey, where are you guys? Because he didn't go with them, or they didn't bring him along. And so he's going from door to door, and he sees room 205. He's like, oh man, I gotta check in there. I need to see if they're in there. They need help. So he opens the door, and then he's like, oh, guess they're not in here. But he keeps looking around for like something, and we had like the ghost, and he's like swirling around making mayhem, and he's like, nope, I had enough of that. And then he closed the door, and he just runs away screaming, and he like goes downstairs. But then we cut to 1962 with Wyatt and Zoe kind of arguing, like why did you run away? Why are you such a coward? And basically he says, we can't just walk up to a potential threatening ghost or whatever and just ask her questions. I mean, yeah, maybe we thought it was a good idea when we were just doing a seance, since we were kind of at home, but we're in a strange place with a stranger. Like, this isn't good. And it's like, and then Zoe's like, we can't keep avoiding this. We need to have an answer, which I totally agree with. And we have Savannah just, she's a prankster. She's like, boo, and they both like freak out. Then that kind of cuts to Topher freaking out going downstairs. And then he's like, Topher, they're like, well, what's wrong? And it's like, oh, why and Zoe? And then Sarah obviously getting worried, like, wait, where is why and Zoe? And he's like, is it, did they go into room 205? He's like no, I checked 205. He's like, oops, because remember they promised to not go into that room anymore. It's off limits. He's like, oh, but they're not in there. They're like, no, I didn't see them in there, but I went in there. I know I shouldn't have, but I thought I'm the biggest fear of my life. I think the ghost took them, and obviously to freak Sarah out. Like, Topher, you can't just say that in front of Sarah. Like, come on. And but Topher's a kid. Like, he's freaking out. He doesn't know where his two best friends are. But we so they kind of talked to him downstairs. He's like, yeah, I know. We said we wouldn't investigate anymore, but I'm kind of worried about Wyatt and Zoe. We need to push back my punishment a little bit so we can focus on the bigger matter here. Which Topher's actually correct here. He needs to be in trouble because, like, you know, he's a kid that broke the rule. Like, come on. But so, and Jess kind of agrees. Like, yeah, we do need to find Wyatt and Zoe. Like, oh, where are they? And then Ben has an idea. Oh, are they like at the hatch? And then Topher's kind of like, he's like, oh no, the hatch. So you know about that place? So, yeah, I do know about it. He's like, well, I'm not sure if they're down there. Which Topher's right, because they didn't bring him along. And he's almost like, oops, like wait, you know about it? And he's like, yep. And Jess is like, yeah, and I know about it too. And Sarah's like, what are you guys talking about? Sarah's not in the loop. And we have let's see. So we have Ben. So Sarah and so Ben goes downstairs to the basement. Well, when he goes down, we are still upstairs with Sarah and Jess with Topher, and then Topher's kind of like, so how much trouble am I? And she's like, wait in the car, and he's like, okay, fine, and then he goes outside. We cut to Ben downstairs, and he's going through the basement, going through that shelf thing. Like he's kind of going to the shelf, and then he's going in. And as we hear the doors close, we hear footsteps go down to the basement, and it's Sam, Griffin, and Harper. And it's like, I have an idea. Back in the olden days, so ever since the hotel opened to a certain time, and he didn't say a specific day, people had to sign their name with the room number, because that's how they tracked everything, because there was no digital. So that makes sense. There's a bunch of books. Let's read we will make a list of everyone who stayed at room 205. He's like, okay. And then obviously Sam doesn't want any distractions, which makes sense, because he's like, Harper's like, well, look at all these names, all the signatures and stuff like that. I'm with Harper. I really like signatures. Sam's like, hey, like, just focus on the room numbers. I the 205. Focus on that. It's okay. And then it's like, I looked through a couple of pages and like nothing. I think he's like, yeah, this entire book just like nothing. This is like in the 1940s, I think he said. And then Harper finds one, and it's like, I forgot the name. It was like Chelsea something. That name keeps escaping me, because in my previous attempt at this review, I didn't remember the name either, but I believe it's Chelsea. I could be wrong, but and it's like, oh, like 1947, room 205, and this is the first person documented that was saying room 205. And it's like, but that doesn't make any sense. It could have been haunted the entire time the hotel's been open, and they're kind of like, oh, I don't know. It's like, and they're kind of on the same page of someone needed to be staying permanent, because I'm not sure it's a real thing with hotels, but someone basically was staying permanently in that room in the hotel until something happened. So this is like the first, I guess, like guest that went into 205 basically. So, and then we don't know why. Well, why did this happen? Why did a person leave? Did this person die? Did this person like decide not to be in the hotel anymore? We don't really know. He's like, okay, and then Griffin's like, how about we extend this field trip and let's go find out. And they're like, okay. So we cut to, so as they're kind of discussing a little bit more about their plan, we have Topher going into the car, and he sees like a shadow, and he like ducks under in the seat, and he slowly goes up a little bit, and he like freaks out, and he's like, oh, is this your mom? And it just like has like a, oh, man, what am I gonna do with you? And so obviously, like Jess like takes Topher home because I don't think we see Jess through the rest of the night because this episode goes into like the next day basically. So basically tomorrow for them. So Jess obviously takes Topher home. So but we don't see them go home. We just like basically like with context clues we just assume that's where they're going. But we cut to 1962 with Savannah, Wyatt, and Zoe, where she's explained everything. Like, I'm not a ghost. And I'm like, finally. It's like, I'm not a ghost. I'm a time traveler. And they're like, what? Time travel? What are you talking about? The bunker, like the radio that was actually a time machine. Well, it used to be a radio. And they're like, oh, what about the rock? Is that connected? It's actually a crystal. That's what makes the like, the portal work with the machine. And they're like, oh, and some things are kind of connecting a little bit more now. It's like, wait, are you? Because they were so committed for two whole seasons, 2 entire seasons that Savannah was the ghost, and now their kind of reality's breaking a little bit, where and like, are you sure you're not a ghost? And it's like, I'm sure I'm not a ghost. And it's like, wait, okay, so if we do believe you, and what they basically are, but they're kind of suggesting like, if we do 100% believe you, and you're actually not a ghost, that means do you know what's even going on? Because if she's not a ghost, why would she know anything about what's haunting the hotel and stuff like that? So they're kind of asking like, do you know? It's like, I know it's an evil ghost, but I don't know anything else about it. But maybe Griffin and Harper do, because I'm home. I'm home here, and I need to stay here. Necessarily I can't go back. I need to be here with my mom. I was like, oh, so that is your mom. It's like, yeah. It's like, so is this like a parallel world of ghosts or something? It's like, no, this is 1962. It's not parallel universe or something. And like, and they're kind of like, oh, okay. And so it kind of takes us in more easily than Wyatt. And then even Savannah's like, are you okay, Wyatt? And he's like, oh, like, oh, like, I'm not as brave as my sister, as I don't take information as easily as her. Like, it takes me a while to process information. And then somebody's like, hey, like, I get it. And she used to like, oh, you're cute, Wyatt. And so I'm like, Wyatt kind of gives a look. Does Wyatt have a crush on Savannah? I wonder if that'll go in. Well, obviously it's not going to go fully anywhere because currently in 2020, if Savannah does eventually grow up from 1962 and onward, and currently 2020, she's like 80, like 90 years old. So that's weird. And it's also kind of weird now because Wyatt's supposed to be 11, maybe 12. I think Savannah's supposed to be 15, 14, maybe. It's like a different like age group. So either way is weird, but it's normal for kids to have a crush on older people. It's normal sometimes. So it's not like stated or anything, but I don't know why I kind of gave a look. Even why I said to Zoe, I hope you know the way back because I sure don't. Savannah said I have to go back to my mom, and he keeps on like staring at her. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But we where do we go from here? Right. So it's like, okay, like come on, we have to go. So they're running, and then immediately Ben at the portal, and they're like, oh, Dad, and it's like, and then so Wyatt's like, okay, we can totally explain this, and he just crosses his arms, and he doesn't say anything, but he has to look like, okay, yeah, sure, like, what is it? And there is Wyatt's like, oh, okay, we actually don't have a good explanation, and then he's like, home. Now, that's it, and they're like, okay. So they go through the portal, and then we have Griffin, Harper, and Sam, and they're kind of talking about, okay, we're gonna head to like 1947. We're gonna check this out. He's like, yep. And then we have them putting the coordinates, and they're kind of talking some more, and then we hear the voices, and we hear Ben kind of arguing with Zoe and Wyatt. And as soon as Sam hears it, he's out, like, and he just goes through the door. And it's like, wow, Sam, way to abandon your people, abandon your friends. So like, what the heck? But again, this is like a natural instinct for him, fight or flight. I hear noise, it's gonna cause trouble in the space-time continuum. I'm out. Sorry. And then obviously to try to escape the door, they almost make it, but Ben's like, nope, hold it, you two. Griffin, Harper, I thought I told you not to come back down here. And I thought you two were supposed to tell Wyatt and Zoe not to come down here either. I didn't say, oh, Mr. Campbell, like you actually told me, but I did eventually tell Griffin. So I guess Harper wanted to clarify. And like so they're kind of talking, kind of arguing some more, but basically, Ben's like, okay, I had enough of this. It's late at night. You guys need to go to bed. So I'm not sure exactly where Harper's staying because Jess took Topher home. So I'm assuming Jess comes back and takes Harper home. I'm just like assuming that because Harper doesn't live in a Tremont. So, you know. So we have okay, Harper, go back upstairs and wait for your mom to come back because she took your brother home. And she's like, okay. And then Wyatt, Zoe, take a shower, go put your PJs on and go straight to bed. Like, okay, no more investigating. Like, no more. Ben's just done. And then obviously Griffin just goes along with him. And he said, nope, Griffin, stay here. I need to talk to you. He's like, okay. And then obviously when wisely the last one, so when he closes the door, and then Ben's like, Griffin, why didn't you tell any of us? Like, why didn't you tell me about this place, this bunker? It's dangerous. It could be broken glass. It could be rusty nails or anything. Like, this is a part of the hotel, and when I bought the hotel, like we've been staying here for a while now, and I don't even need to ask you to know that you could just confirm me right now, like you knew this place like almost like the first day you were here, right? Or almost like the first day. And Griffin basically nods like, yeah, like I knew immediately. It's like, why didn't you tell any of us? This is like a very dangerous place. Like, what the heck? And but Griffin's not necessarily lying here, but he's also not telling the whole truth about the whole portal and time traveling, Savannah being alive thing. So so Griffin basically says, I don't know, Dad. This became Harper and this became my and Harper's hangout. Like, it became our hangout. Like, it became a special place. Like for you and Savannah, for the treehouse with you and Savannah. And Ben has a look of like, oh man. And he's just like, okay, like I kind of get that. Like, I understand. But seriously, Griffin's like, I understand. So like, you're not gonna be in trouble or anything. Because obviously Ben understands. He knows what it's like to be a kid once. So he's like, okay, you won't be in trouble, but please, Griffin, please find somewhere else. And he's like, okay, and like, I get it. And they go, okay, like no more. Like, I got it. And he's like, okay, so like head back upstairs. You head upstairs. Like I told Wine Zoe, shower. Like change your clothes, brush your teeth. Just go to bed. Like, it's bedtime. Okay, go. And Griffin's like, okay. And it was even better. Like, you had enough excitement for one night. And he's like, oh yeah, like you don't have to tell me twice. And obviously Ben's kind of looking around, and he says, okay, finally, no one's gonna come back in here. And he unplugs the portal, the radio. I mean, and he trying to. What else is he doing there? So sorry, I kind of like lost my train of thought for a second. Ben. Oh, right. He was turning off the lights. Right. I'm sorry. So he turned off the lights. He unplugged the radio. So then he closed the door, and then now we reach to the next day, I believe. Yeah. And the next day we have Savannah in 1962, where she's having breakfast with her mom. That's how we know it's the next day. To where Savannah's talking about, oh, I wasn't gone that long, and she's like, I wasn't just talking about last night. This has been a constant thing ever since Sam disappeared. Like, you've been disappearing. And Savannah's mom, she's just worried. I love her so much. She's like, are you happy here? And she's kind of choking up. And then Savannah, obviously, she drops her fork on her plate, and she's like, Mom, I am happy here. You took me in. You adopted me. You gave me a home. I. She even kind of thinks to herself and out loud, like, I probably haven't said this enough. How grateful I am, and how much I love you, how much I care about you. I was like, yeah, Savannah, you should say it more often because have been gone for a while, and I know you don't want to lose Griffin, Harper, and Sam, and just I guess that includes now Wyatt and Zoe a little bit now. Not necessarily Topher because he's kind of not fully in the loop now, but you know. So she doesn't lose the connection, which is fair because she make more connections and it's a very human thing. But she doesn't want to lose her mom either. She's kind of thinking, oh man, I have been ducking out a lot, and I kind of feel kind of crummy right now. It's like I don't think I ever said how much I loved you like enough, and I'm like, oh my heart. Um, and like and she's like, oh, like oh Savannah, like I love you so much. She's like, I love you too, and she's like, the reason why I've been disappearing is because sometimes I just feel like I just need a place to be alone, to be with my thoughts so I can think about things, very important things, which isn't necessarily a lie. Because even Savannah's mom brings up like, oh, like your real your biological parents, and Savannah kind of, she's about to eat like a strawberry and she kind of places it down and she's kind of thinking, she hasn't really brought up her parents a whole lot, so maybe she actually does bring up her parents because Savannah, I would say, is one of the three main characters, but because Savannah is part of a different time, there are a lot of moments where she could have her own like separate adventures. I could see potentially like if they did Disney wanted to do it, like a spin-off about Savannah, like I could see that happening because there's a whole lot more that we could do with her. So when she kind of has like a look like, oh yeah, I have been thinking about my mom and dad, my biological mom and dad, like why I was like all alone in the first place. Why did they leave me or like give me up? Did they die or something? There's like a lot more you could do there. Would Disney do it? I don't know, but I would give it a watch. I'll watch the trailer, see if it's any good. And but so she's like, oh hey Savannah, I get it, but you don't need to bottle up your feelings anymore. I'm your mom now. You can talk to me about those important things. And then Savannah grabs her hand and she's like, I promise, no more lies. The truth from now on. And I was like, oh, my heart swelled when I first watched that and rewatching it. I was like, oh, I love it. So we have this plumber guy, and he's like, "Oh, who's that?" And basically, and he's like, "Oh, hey Savannah, this is like the new mechanic." Because Sam left, and it is a hotel. You need someone new, like So we, okay, I think I heard someone from the other room, but that does not matter. So where was I? Right. So there was like a new mechanic for the hotel because it is a business and you needed a new plumber, like a mechanic to do all the works and stuff. And it's like, oh hey, I forgot like her last name, but hey miss, I'm gonna start my not his like first day. He didn't say that, but I'm gonna begin going to the basement and so I can fix it. And he's like, oh, fix what? And he's like, oh, you two ladies have like a nice breakfast. And he's like, okay, bye. And he's like, oh, he's finally gonna get that plumbing fixed because so this is kind of interconnecting the different times. Something happened in the past that's affecting the basement because why is it significance that the plumbing needs to be fixed? And that same basement is connected with the portal, with the hatch and stuff. So it's kind of coming together a little bit. I really like that. So we go back from 1962 to 2020, and this is where we get why is you see I've been talking for a long time. It's the escape button, the hovering thing is back. Anyway, so we have Wyatt confronting Harper, Wyatt and Zoe confronting Harper and Griffin, saying, "Okay, here's the deal. We don't tell Dad, Mom, and Jess, Harper's mom, your mom, Harper. We won't tell your mom, Harper, like about the portal, Savannah, time travel, the works, if you let us use the portal." And I just want to point out, look at Harper right here. She is just done. She's thinking about so many things right now and trying to keep these dang kids safe. And they go everything that's gonna happen with like the family and stuff, and to Topher being in a coma, probably not never seeing Savannah again. Sam's living in the barn. It's not really the best place to live. She keeps having these freaky visions. Griffin's gonna push Topher down the banister. And Griffin's mom is gonna be in a psych ward. There's so many thoughts going through this child's head. She cannot deal with these kids right now. I feel so bad for her. And then just look at her. Look at his face. She's like, oh, these dang kids. Oh man. And then even Griffin's like, where would you guys even go? And then Zoe's like, we'll go anywhere. We go like any time, any place. I just want to play this right here.
We go everywhere. Different times, different ages. I mean, haven't you ever wanted to see a dinosaur?
I kind of suggested that in season 2 for Topher, actually.
With the British right near here. We could pop up in the middle of a battlefield and get hit by a cannonball.
So I kind of wanted to mention. I kind of talked a bit in that clip where I said that in one of my season 2 reviews for like when I was reviewing the episodes for season 2, I kind of suggested, now that spoilers for season 2, last season, where Topher finally found the crystal, I was kind of suggesting maybe Topher can like experience the dinosaurs or something. I was making a suggestion, but that didn't end up happening, and Topher got freaked out. He like lost the crystal and stuff like that, so he didn't go back in time or anything. Bummer, but you know, it's not like a bad writing choice, but I was made to believe that it was going to be more than what actually happened. But so it's pretty cool that they actually made this reference right here. I was like, they actually mentioned dinosaurs, so I'm not the only one. Cool. So and then pretty cool historical event. In the comments below, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but because he mentioned Andrew Jackson, I believe that was the colonel that he mentioned. Andrew Jackson, sorry, I was shaking the laptop, but Andrew Jackson, he mentioned, was leading the British on the battlefield, like where this hotel was based on before the hotel was built. There was a battlefield here. Is it we could be in the middle of a war? So how cool is that? And Griffin even made like a comment that yeah, you could do that and get hit by a cannonball, like you could die. What are you thinking? And even White has to think of what? He's like, White, use your brain, come on. But White is too excited. And then Griffin's like, you don't even use the portal and time travel for adventure. And then so it's like, then what do you use it for? What else would you use it for? And then obviously Griffin's like, and then Harper is like, yo, never mind about that. Like, we don't. She even closes the door. Like, we don't need to use the portal. We don't need it because Griffin and I have stuff to do now. And then Zoe's like, what kind of things? And then Griffin's like, oh, never mind about that, those type of things. But we just don't want to tell Mom, Dad, and Harper Topher's mom about the portal because a lot will unravel, which is really true. And then Zoe's kind of tired about this also because she's like, a lot unraveling things to do. Like, why are there so many secrets? And even Harper's kind of done with this too. Everyone's kind of frustrated except for Wyatt. But even Harper's like says like to Wyatt and Zoe, it's dangerous stuff. Okay, she kind of raised her voice a little bit, and she's very insistent. Do not tell Topher because he ends up in a coma in the future. And then Wyatt's kind of getting kind of frustrated too, where he's like, we're all best friends. Why can't we tell Topher? And I just want to play this clip right here.
Look, guys, lives, literally lives depend on it. And if anything were to happen to any of you, I would never forgive myself. Neither of us would.
And like you can just tell how much Griffin. You can just really tell that I sorry, I was kind of talking in a very low voice. You can really tell that Griffin really loves his siblings, his little brother and sister. You can really care. And even Harper cares about them. Like, neither of us would forgive ourselves if anything would happen to any of you. And even Harper's kind of looking at Griffin for, like, reassurance, but also, like, that includes you, too. Like, I would never forgive myself if anything were to happen to you, if the ghost possesses you or not. Like, I wouldn't forgive myself either. And like, oh, I'm saying, look at Griffin's face. He's like a very sad face. And we have Ben. He's like locking up the basement for good. Well, at least that the fallout shelter. And this is like the shelf I was talking about. And he's like, okay, it's finally locked, and now it will keep those kids finally out of that bunker. And then she's like, and Sarah's like, well, that doesn't work. Oh, there's always boarding school. And he's like, oh, there's that smile. I missed it, and I agree. I missed it too, Ben. And they hug, and you look at Sam right here. You can tell he's kind of like smiling a little bit, but it's also kind of sad. It's a little smile, and he kind of notices something, and there's like a red light is underneath Sarah, and I'm like, what's going on about this? Again, we don't know anything about Sarah's family, like her side of the family. Only really Ben. So I'm like, is there a connection with Sarah's family? I'm just like assuming so. 3 episodes in, I'm kind of getting convinced. I'm not 100% convinced, but I'm getting really convinced that there's something connected with her family. Maybe I'll get 100% convinced in like the next episode, Sunday episode 4. But I still need to rewatch it, so I'm not sure. So okay, so I'm just gonna pause it right here. So that's the end of the clips. I'm sorry, it's not anymore. It's not like a full episode clip. Sorry about that. So we where do we go from here? Right, we actually go back to we actually go back to Savannah in 1962, where she decides to go into the to the basement to kind of I think she was like placing stuff down. She helps around the hotel. She's kind of putting stuff back into like her quote unquote normal life, being 1962, being the daughter of the lady who runs a hotel currently in this time. She's kind of being a normal girl with a sort of normal life, kind of. So she's kind of helping around the hotel. She's placing things in the basement, and she sees this like white glowing light. And one of the oh, sorry about that. I kind of caught my eye. I think it might have been that floorboard. I think this floorboard is glowing red right here. In 1962, I think it's glowing white. It might be a different floorboard, but I think this might have been it. Because I think it's right by the stairs. So, I could be wrong, but I believe that's it. So, it's glowing white, and Savannah's like, oh, what the heck is that? And she kind of opens it, and there's like a newspaper, like in 1947, I believe it was, the same room number that, the same year that the room 205 was first stayed at after that permanent owner went who knows where or died or who knows what. We don't really know. That first person, like Kelsey something or Shelby, I forget the name. It was a female. Was staying, like at that room during that time, and that is when the newspaper's taking place. And that newspaper says, I might not know I don't remember like the whole title, but I believe it says blank breaks color barrier, and that was really pouring down around like the 1940s and stuff like that. So it's like something breaks color barrier, but the other part, like it's like the newspaper was kind of folded on like a brick, like, and she opens it, the brick's like full of money, and she like underneath the brick is like a whole the thing of money, and she's like, what the heck is all this money doing here? And what does this newspaper have to do with it? Guess my time travel days aren't over after all. So she's excited, but she's also determined, because that means it will also help Griffin, Harper, and Sam. They're her best friends. I gotta help them. Well, Sam's more like a father figure / uncle type of thing, but you know what I mean. But so like I'm like, how is this newspaper like connected? So she decides to so she's like collecting all the money first of all. So she's trying to like collect it so like into like stacks so she can like carry it and stuff like that. So and also like in like the newspaper also, so she has like kind of more room in her hands and stuff like that. So we go from that back to 2020, where Ben and Jess are kind of having a talk about their kids and how Griffin and Harper, they're kind of growing up too fast, and how they keep secrets. And Ben's like, I understand perfectly why Griffin would keep secrets from me. I don't like it, but I understand because I sure kept secrets from my dad. But I don't really want the same for my relationship with Griffin because my current relationship with my dad is it's like it's not good. Like I don't want that between me and my son, and that's totally understandable. Ben's a really good guy, and Ben's father isn't really. So so we where do we go from here? Right, so they're kind of locking up like the hatch and with the chain, so it's completely locked. Like no one can open it now. And the Jess has a look, and Ben's like, "Hey, Jess, you right? And are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, is Harper growing up like, a little too fast for you? Like how Griffin's growing up too fast for me?" And she's like, "Yeah, there are some days that feel like that, but there's also days that also don't. But I just I wish they would talk to us more." And Ben's like, "I totally agree." And like do you think this feeling will ever stop, or do you think their like shenanigans will eventually stop and like they'll be more connected with us? And he's like, I'm not really sure because this could be a temporary thing or this could last forever. We don't really know. And it's like, yeah, we don't really know. And Ben's like, and only we can, if only we could. I'm surprised they didn't weaken the camera, but it's not as okay. You know what? Never mind. It's not. I was gonna make a joke like, I'm surprised they didn't weaken the camera. How ridiculous it is! Like, no, it's not. It's not ridiculous. But Ben just mentions and only if only we could look into the future and see how our kids would be. Like and Jess is like, yeah, if only we could. And they walk away. Ben, I can't name some except Griffin and Harper are behind the tree, and then Harper's like, Griffin, did you hear that? And then Griffin's like, oh no, I didn't hear anything. And it's like, oh, did you hear something, Harper? And it's like, oh no, they're too far away. Like, yeah. And they're kind of talking some more, and they're kind of like, we need to figure out what happened in room 205. But now, the hatch and the bunker, they're both locked. What are we gonna do? We need to find like a key or something, or figure out some way about the ghost here. But how are we supposed to do that? They're kind of talking some more, and while Griffin's kind of talking, Harper just has another vision, and it's that image of her vision is of Sarah looking like she's being possessed. And I love how Griffin, like, but he really cares about Harper. He's like, oh my goodness, Harper, you okay? And Harper's like, and she's really breathing really heavily. She's like, oh, I had another vision. And he's like, oh, what was it? And he starts freaking out. I was like, oh no, dude, is it Topher? Did it do something again? It's like, no, it wasn't Topher. And then he's like, my mother? What happened? And he's like, Griffin, your mother, she was a ghost. Like it looks like she was a ghost. Like, the way her eyes looked, yeah, she's very ghostly like. And so and Harper's like freaking out. Griffin's trying to comfort her, and we get back to 1962 with Savannah kind of ducking away from everyone because yeah, in 1960s you have all that money, like you get robbed. So she's trying to duck between cars and stuff like that, and she's I'm not sure like where she's taking it necessarily. Maybe she's gonna bury it. She doesn't say, but she hears something in the. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, but she hears something in the barn. I was gonna say basement, the barn. She opens the barn for some reason, and she's gonna figure out what it is. And she sees like a gust like spirit, the same one that was in room 205. It was in the barn. Oh, that's new information to us, and it's like she drops the money, but she's like, what the heck? It's in the barn. Like, when did it get here? Did it start here? Was it locked in here? She has all these questions, and she's about to pick up the money, and all the money starts like a tornado in the air, and it all just drops on the floor. And really not loud noise because the brick is part of that, along with newspapers, and she immediately just runs. She books it, and then that was it, right? I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss a scene. I believe that's it. Yeah, so she just got spooked, and we leave it there with like a ghost connected with this money, connected with 1947, with the color, the barrier being lifted. So there's more integration now, so it's connected with that, connected with this barn now, and yeah, so that's the end of the episode. And like I said for like the previous review take, 100%. I don't think I had like a single complaint in this episode. If there's anything that felt a little bit off, it makes sense for their characters. Like how Griffin said that, oh, yeah, you can go to a battlefield, why, but you can also get hit by a cannonball. But Wyatt wasn't necessarily like thinking about that, because Wyatt is a kid and he wants to do some exploring. So it makes sense why he would think like that. It also makes sense for Griffin to be like a more mature, like like smarter older brother, to be like, no, you can't just go into a battlefield. You'll die. Like you can't just do that. So yeah, 100%. I thought this was fantastic. Again, maybe later on I might see like a flaw, or I might change my mind, but I won't do like a review because I don't do that. But yeah. So this was just 100%. A plus, really. I don't really think anything was wrong with this episode. I'm trying to think back. I don't. I was gonna suggest something, but actually, it's not. It's not really a complaint, but it's more like a curiosity. Where my curiosity would be, where was Savannah gonna take all that money with the newspaper and the brick? Like, where was she gonna take it? It's not necessarily a complaint. It's more like a curious thing, because I'm like, we're gonna take it outside into the woods and bury it. But it's not necessarily a complaint. I'm just really curious of. If she did explain it, it was actually really dumb. Then it would have taken a point off. But no, all that makes sense. And Savannah dropping the money, that makes sense because she was kind of freaked out, and the brick dropping and she like ran away from the barn, that makes sense. Her conversation with her mom was beautiful, and the conversation between Ben and Griffin, that was great, father son, like the dynamic, that was great. Savannah talking to Wyatt and Zoe, that was great too. So yeah, 100%. So that's my there will be timestamps. So that was my main review. So now it's time for um like next time on Secrets of Sulphur Springs for the episode 4, the mid-season finale. So we have, so spoilers for that, it will be a separate timestamp. We have Savannah, basically Mrs. Barker, I believe that's her name. She's um she is like in the oh, I think I mentioned. I forgot. I actually forgot to mention something. Remember when Ben locked up the hatch? Um, she was actually to talk about what she found with the money in the newspaper before she grabbed it and went to the barn. She was actually went to 2022. Like, okay, guys, I'm coming back to talk to you guys about this. This is really important. She was actually banging on the hatch. I totally forgot about that. This um the next time on Secret Sulphur Springs, it actually jogged my memory. So that's actually pretty cool. Um, so as an old lady, like, so Wyatt's like, Mrs. Barker, what are you doing? And she's kind of talking to Wyatt and Zoe like, the banging, couldn't you hear it? The banging. And we have a glimpse back in 1962 where she's banging on the like the bit banging on like the hatch. To kind of like kind of mush those clips together, and she's like, the banging, couldn't you hear it? The banging. And so she's like crying. So was she sucked through the entire time? So we have trying to figure out like, what else was there. We have everyone like hanging out by the springs, but like Sarah got like injured. I think she got like it was like boiling water that kind of hit her arm, because I think for a glimpse second I thought her arm was pretty red, and like, oh, and we have Griffin talking to Harper. Are you sure what you saw in the vision was my mom acting like a ghost and looking like a ghost? Yeah, I'm sure it was your mom. My visions are never wrong. I might misinterpret them, but that was clearly your mother. And as we saw, yeah, it was her. It was her. And then Griffin's like, I don't understand. Why isn't the ghost attacking all of us? Why is it only attacking her? I'm getting pretty convinced it has something to do with her family. I don't know. But and that's basically it. So like, it's only I'm glad there was only a little bit of things that kind of gets in test for the mid-season finale. The middle of the season is coming. It's coming, and we only got a little taste right here. And yeah, that's it. So everyone, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, give me a big thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to check out my mini reviews and my community posts. And I will see you guys later today for the my mini review of the mid-season finale for Secrets of Sulphur Springs season 3 episode 4, the main review for it, and I believe the community post would be on Monday, like on the later side of Monday, along with a channel update. Because I forgot to say something in my channel update I posted yesterday. So there's something important I had to mention, so I'm gonna do that on Monday, after work, basically. So yes, after my job of that day, Monday, I'm gonna do another channel update, kind of explaining things a little bit more. There was something I forgot. So yeah, everyone. So I'll see you guys later today for episode 4, the mini review and the main review, the mid season finale. We're almost here. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay. Bye.